Hey everybody, my name is Olina here and I'm playing Play Inside Playdead game, and it is my interpretation within the game is to have more depth knowledge as to how we face our challenges because it's a maze and it's a puzzle, but in more depth towards having to understand our character's mind to survive the game. Playdead Inside game holds a great amount of significance within having to play for about 2 weeks. This game has made me imagine different perspectives as a character of the game, in which this game further challenges the player's ability to acknowledge surroundings without guidance. Also, this game has good marketing strategy appointed towards giving the players bare minimum yet addictive suspense. And lastly, this game made a difference within myself to understanding the context within comparing what I study as law to gaming. So in terms of understanding the game, it is pretty simple yet complicated. The game is challenging the players as there's no possible instructions given. It is simply having to use our set of skills for obstacles. It is not a competitive game, but it can be played with friends as well. As you can see the options if you go down further within the video. So I was reading this article named Dark Participation in Games by Rachel Covet, and her article really was a mind opener to understanding why the society acknowledged as gaming to be toxic culture is really not based on the context of the game, but rather depending on the player. So I was trying to really resonate the game I chose to present that the game player, and as a student, I don't find myself to be within gaming world as more in depth, but knowing how many others view gaming to be useless bothers me because gaming is also another form of storytelling. It's not just there for leisure or to distract us, but also engage with another surreal world which we can be in control of, in which Henry Jenkins mentioned that there are 4 types of storytelling, such as evacuated space, enacted space, embedded space, and emergent space, in which embedded narratives present that there is importance within finding differences between the story, the plot, and the narrative of the game. With knowing each concept to be distinct within each other, as a player, it is my own that I need to take use of my surroundings and accept each challenge. So playing such a game that is a bit frustrating to say the least won't make me toxic, just like playing a shooting game or any other game that seems to be violent. In fact, Covet mentions that not being able to balance the skill level of the players and the challenge within the game can be a driving force for toxic nature. Also, having competitive mindset without proper cooperation and social environment is characterized by negative trash talking and gloating. Whereas myth and worsh help us gather certain skills that through environmental storytelling, such as paying attention the gaming space, the movements through gaming world, the proper form of communication can help players rely on small cues, making much sense of what the game should be and how it can be played. So moreover, I am so focused on the marketing strategy used by the company as how there's a charge for the game, but if you go further into steps of purchasing, there's a free trial in the beginning of the game to finish and see if you actually want to go through the free trial or purchase to play a real game. So it is also interesting that the character within the game was male. The context within the game does not imply their audience to be male fully because the game is neutral to be subjecting towards any gender, in which through applying the concept of hegemony of play, historically games created strategy behind gaining viewers based on their gender. These companies had created games. If the game was car racing, then the company expected males to be their audience. However, hegemony of play concept, according to Janine, Tracy Ford, and Celia, is a challenge. Well, they technically challenge this history because today there's so much interconnectivity in the games. There's values, norms, technology, commercials, culture, more investments in particular games, while some games are kind of devalued and marginalized. However, I find every game to be addictive, which we can all agree, because when I'm playing games, there was rules that kind of made me feel bored. Yes, I am technically changing my mind about games because of this game. I find no rules to be of an exception because the only rule that exists within this game is to not get caught by the guards. When it comes to addiction to games, there's basically nothing but a person being more enthusiastic over a game. According to Mark D. Griffith, the role of context in online gaming, access and addiction, some case study evidence article, he elaborates that it is not addiction if an activity is played for a few or longer hours because there's no negative consequence within the life of the player. As mentioned, to conclude, after studying 2 game players, the experience of their excessive play, there was no solid evidence to prove that playing games for a long time will necessarily get a person addicted to a game. As game players who also study and work, I think addiction is not how I would describe myself to be. in which there's apparently 6 criterions to be defined as an addict to a game. First is salience, where a person's daily activities are dominated by their thoughts, good modification, using games as or an escape, tolerance, increasing time limits within playing games until they feel like they can handle themselves, withdrawal symptoms when playing games is reduced or stopped. It makes the players feel unpleasant or moody, conflict, having trouble within their surroundings, and lastly, relapsing, having to repeat the same steps of having to play games over and over again. Having known these 6 criterions might validate to be addictive nature of sort, it is clear that these, without proper balance, we cannot kind of really say another person is addicted to a game. So have proper balance, how we manage our daily lifestyles and time for ourselves. They should be engaged upon a person's mindset and not follow others. So I'm a law student, currently struggling to manage myself with studying and gaming and working. So having my time to play a little game is within this pandemic is much better. So I have really distanced myself from people that are really close to me or from studies, and it did not really turn out good for me. I was quite a little depressed when I was finding out about this game because I wasn't really into playing games while I was away from friends or studies. I was just not feeling it. But this game really made me feel much better. So therefore, I was trying my best to relate within the class content, and in order to understand the concept of effect, I was relying more to the class notes and readings. It really helped me understand Sham Denise from the class content elaborate how her experience playing the game was to have openness to experiences besides just winning the game. She was comparing real life experiences of feeling rejection and how art can reach out more than just being rejected and obliterated to be a few keystrokes closing the program. In other words, depending on each game players decide to play, have challenges and effective forces as well, that they are present in argument about the side battles humans face within the game of reality for many others. And these games affect of how person act along within creativity within the game. Our emotions as players are not just how we play the game, but how we think why it matters and why we chose this game for us, and how we put ourselves into the surreal world and how we allow the game to lead us, in which I'm sure all of us can relate. Playing a game can make us feel all better, and our moods and emotions are affected how we accept the game we play. Well, understanding all these 3 key points, I hope you all try your best to find this game and play it as well. I purchased it for $9.99 through Apple Store, and I really like it, and I will continue playing this game because it really has an impact on how I find other games to be with rules, and this one without rules, and finding myself to really put myself out there is amazing. Thank you for listening.